Gosh, I sure do wonder how they made Celestia's crown.
Rock and stone!
Luckily for every pony, I am once again tackling another pointless pony topic. How expensive is Princess Celestia's crown? Now, I must be honest, this research was quite extensive and took me longer than even I expected, so I'm going to be doing my best to break down each section as simply as possible. Before we can understand the true value of her crown, we do need to understand a few key factors: the material it's made of, and the gem in the center. Since this is Princess Celestia we are talking about, I will not accept that this crown is made of anything less than gold, so that's the metric we'll be following. And as for the gem, it's purple, so naturally I'll be going with it being a genuine amethyst. But before we even do any of this, there is a very important history lesson we need to go through.
I hope every creature brought their notebooks and pencils, because today we will be speaking about carrots and carrots. Now I know that may sound pretty confusing, but I assure you by the end you will be a natural carrot connoisseur. You see, carat and carat are two different units of measurement, both serving unique purposes. Carat, that's the one with the C, is a unit of weight that we use to measure our gemstones. 1 carat being the equivalent to 200 milligrams or 0.007 ounces. The best way to look at it, the more carats, the more money. Then that brings us over to our trusty carat, the one sporting the dashing K. You see, carats are also a unit of measurement, but instead of just weight, it goes by the purity of gold. If you've ever heard the term 24 karat gold, that simply means 100% pure money. I mean gold. So in conclusion, class, what have we learned today? Carats with a C are for measuring gemstones, and carats with a K are for measuring gold. Correct. Now that we have that in mind, we can truly move to the topic at hand.
Oh gosh, sorry. Now that we know the difference between carats and carats, let's begin. To figure out the amount of gold used in Celestia's crown, we are going to have to be using both the show and real life to help find our numbers. The average crown's gold purity depends on the era and the wearer who was receiving the crown. But where in Equestria, unicorns have magic, it's most likely that if the crown is made out of gold, it would be in its purest form, whether it was mined that way or unicorn magic played a part. 24 karat gold will be our metric today. To determine the amount of gold used, we would need to determine the width and height of the crown itself. As for the width of the crown, this is where it gets a bit tricky. According to the American Miniature Horse Association, a miniature horse, which is a type of pony, can have a head circumference of around 32 to 34 inches. But Princess Celestia isn't your average pony. She's an alicorn. And according to this chart and show stills, we can determine that Celestia's head would only be slightly larger than that of the other ponies. So we can be generous and say that the circumference of Princess Celestia's head is about 35 to 38 inches. But what about the radius? Well, using the power of math, we can find our estimated answer. Using the formula for determining the circumference of a circle, we can also use it to estimate the diameter of her head. Follow along, I'll make it quick. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times r, where pi is approximately equal to 3.14, and r is the radius of Celestia's noggin. Therefore, we can solve for r by dividing the circumference by 2 times pi. Confused yet? Well, I am too. If we use the midpoint of our earlier established 35 to 38 inches, we get 36.5. Using 36.5, we can create the formula r equals 36.5 divided by parenthesis 2 times 3.14 end parenthesis, which comes out to equal 5.81 inches. And with the radius of our esteemed princess's head, we can now finally determine the diameter. Doing that is much simpler. All we need to do is multiply our radius of 5.81 by 2, and we get approximately 11.62 inches. inches. So to finally determine the width of her crown, we can assume that to fit comfortably, we would need the crown to be about an inch wider than her head. This means that the width of her crown would be roughly 12.62 inches. To determine the height, we can go back to the chart from earlier. The chart says that Princess Celestia is 4 foot 10 inches tall, or 256 pixels tall. Using the chart, that means we can determine her head's diameter is roughly 51 pixels. Combining this and Photoshop to mask her crown downwards, we can roughly estimate that the height of her head is slightly larger than this at 13.62 inches, or 59 pixels. With this in mind, we can now figure out the height of the crown. Since her head is 9/10 of her crown's size, we can figure that the crown must be around 15 inches in height. And like that, the pieces are finally set to begin the discovery of her crown's true price. The amethyst Celestia adorns on the crown is of a decent size, and can be assumed to be roughly 15 to 20 carats, so we will sit in the middle and say 17.5. The average price of a 17.5 carat amethyst is anywhere around $800 to $1,000, but it really depends on the source. Some places sell them for far more than others, so I'm just sticking with its average carat sale of $50 to the carat. This isn't even factoring in the cut, the shape, or the intricacy, we're just trying to find the ballpark average. Determining the value of the gold requires us to estimate the weight of the crown, so I'm going to take my creative liberty here and say 2 to 3 pounds. Now I know this may sound a bit excessive, but history does say that crowns were usually rather uncomfortable to wear, so I'll take what I can get. And furthermore, I mean, she's a magical princess. I'm pretty confident that they found a way to make that thing probably feel like nothing on top of your head when you have to wear it 24/7. Though, with our 2 to 3 pound weight in mind, at the current 24 karat gold per gram sitting at 64 at the time of writing, we can estimate that the gold inside could be anywhere from $58,000 to $90,000. So, with that, if we took the averages of everything calculated, our final total for the cost of Princess Celestia's crown is... wait. Why are we even doing this? I mean, okay, the answer is $74,900, but really, in the end, does monetary value really mean anything? I mean, outside of all these materials most likely being completely worthless in equestrian economy, I mean, we learned through the show just how important the power of friendship can be. You all shared its magic with me, and with that, there truly is no value you can place on it. So until next time, go be a crown or something. I don't know. Bye-bye. Oh, and by the way, Celestia, your crown is super cheap.